Hello and welcome, friends. Today's session, as I already announced on the Facebook, concerns recitation in parts of my anthology, My Own Khajuraho. And this is going to be in three parts, most probably. First part is going to be recited live today. And I want to make something very clear that this title of my book, My Own Khajuraho. Now, Khajuraho, when you think of Khajuraho, when you just bring it to your imagination, when you just start contemplating about Khajuraho, when you just start mentioning about Khajuraho, when you listen any reference to Khajuraho, then there are certain sexual positions of males and females that come to your mind. In fact, these Khajuraho temples are there in Madhya Pradesh, and there is a village by the name Khajuraho where there are several temples. But there is one temple which has all these idols and artworks and artifacts on the outer walls of the temple, on the sapphire that goes up high in the sky, on all the walls. And these are sexual positions differently carved out, differently projected. One can draw inferences of any kind, even kinky sex or maybe unnatural sex between male and female of the human species. But then, why did I title this book of mine as My Own Khajuraho? Is altogether for a different reason. Before that, I would like to share with you a fact that which was probably in the minds of people who constructed those temples with all those idols and artifacts around. The idea must have been that when you refer to God, when you invoke God, when you bow in obeisance to the Almighty, when you surrender yourself to the wills and wishes of the Almighty, when you want to have a total redemption, when you want to let your hands go up in the skies for prayers and for grant of not only benedictions but peace as well. So before you do that, you have all the grossness on your mind. All the negativity is there in your mind. All those apprehensions are there in your mind. All those trepidations are there in your heart. So before you enter that temple, that sanctum sanctorum, you look at all those outwardly things, outward facades, and you get yourself purified in the sense that you have overcome everything that was negative at looking at those idols or artifacts. I'm not saying negative, but yes, when you enter the sanctum sanctorum, when you invoke the gods, you need to have a clear mind and a very clear conscience. So before you enter the sanctum sanctorum, you must clear yourself of all the outward grossness, etc., etc. So this was my idea of Khajuraho. And why did I name it My Own Khajuraho? Was with the intention that every stone which doesn't have a form that I look up to, that I look at, looks to me a thing which is adorable, a thing which is temple-like, which is natural, which is God's gift to us, निराकार. और आकार भी है तो छोटा बड़ा है, गोल मटमैला है. So this was the idea of looking at all my poems, creations in this small little anthology, my own Khajuraho. This was in dedication to this very thought, and every other poem in this anthology doesn't really relate to the theme of what I have conceived Khajuraho as, or what I have tried to project Khajuraho as. They are different. There are different genres. Mine is an approach which has some rhyme scheme here or there introduced, but then it is mostly in blank verse or it is in free verse. That is the handy tool acclaimed writers or poets, and whatever comes to our mind has to follow a definite technique to make it deserve the appellation of a writing or a work of art or composition or a ghazal or nazm or a ballad or an elegy. So they have their own grammar, but blank verse leaves you with enough freedom to create your own thing without going into the nitty-gritty of rhyme scheme and all that. Here and there I have tried to incorporate some rhyme. Now, having said that, let me start my first part of my own Khajuraho, which I think you will definitely enjoy. And I have repeated this first poem, the title poem, many times, but I'll still like to read it here before I recite other poems in the first part out of the three parts that are going to be there in this session, which will involve my own Khajuraho. My own Khajuraho. I have my own Khajuraho in wayside scattered stones, looking indigenous, natural, congenital, unchiseled, unfurrowed, ungrooved, unarranged, even uncontrived. This my Khajuraho finds no patronage, no sponsorship, no support, sadly remains unbeholden, lacks appreciative eye. For this, no deference, no reverence, no obeisance, only indiscretion, gaucherie, and impudence. For it, no sensual, voluptuous eye, no overture, no conciliatory touch or side, no overture, their forms, their curves, their colourful, sanguine sight remain unsung, unknown, alas, their sad plight. I have my own Khajuraho in scattered wayside stones. The second poem is Memorable Times. Future's enigma, I cannot see into it. Reminiscences of times gone by keep crowding the mind oft. Every day dawns the same way as in yore, dims and regains its shine on its daily way. The sun rises the same way, so does the moon. Flowers bloom and wither away. Still some days make times memorable, distinct and momentous, nestling in deepest niches of the heart. Keeping faith. Watching the boundless sky for deep, profound, subtle truths yields variety, axiom, sometimes just a sigh, for things look deeper than the deep, but only partially up to a certain heap of things reflected on and above. Base is where your faith you keep. Base is where your faith you keep. Blissful Anand. Next is Blissful Anand. Honest, sincere prayer propels our heart, propels our hand towards the sky, driving our eyes towards the skies, lunges our soul to cosmos and its maker. Our thoughts slip to Brahma's nectar, it's a sovereign secret, releases all our grossness and impurity, our boorishness, through our feet, and lo, we are alleviated, uplifted, and get refined. Feel no weighty mass, but light as feather, plumage of plumes, to float leisurely like a cloud in the supreme bliss called Anand. Let me thank all those who have joined till now. Kiran Daya, Sunil Chabra, Sahil Ved, Vishwadeepak Trikha, Principal Bhupinder Sir, Gaurav Gautam, Ashish Sigroha, Omi Bhatt, Minakshi Dhul. Thank you very much, all of you. Next one is hold and roll. Something somewhere inside me holds me up, stops me, prompts me to call it a day. It's stubborn, it's dogged, tenacious and persistent. Won't let me go, first firm in its hold. Restricts my thought, my introspection, my belief. Chastises me in language cold. Surely it's there, perverse, enduring and firm. Comes stealthily, like a drizzle, a shower, soft and mild. Lo, it puts me back on the rolls for my daily stroll. Why does one spin lame excuses? I exclaim, while going brisk again on my daily stroll. Gimmick. If it be a gimmick, play it on. If not, sport it like a fawn. If of nature serious, dally it over. If of nature otherwise, let it hover. Mixing up. Gregarious, affable and social, that sometimes turns dodgy and precarious. In terms vicarious, still at times be atrociously nefarious. As I said, once in a while, I'll employ some kind of a rhyme scheme here and there, जिसको तुकबंदी बोलते हैं हिंदी में. But basically, mainly it is free verse, blank verse. Heavy heart. Seeing a wing on the ground, seeing a wing, broken wing, seeing a wing on the ground, frigid and gone dead, forces me to think about the beautiful bird and sweet notes it used to sing. In my stroll, it hangs heavy on my heart. Soon it counsels me to take things light. Prick or dart, a tragic, painful sorrow is bound to make us feel the jolt with a hapless, heavy heart. Whining winds. You must have heard of breeze, soft breeze, the shore, zephyr, whatever you call it. Whining winds. Strong winds, when do whine, their blare sounds like morning cry. With their fret and frown, wearing their invisible crown, force us to bear our battered heart. Look, calling. The bard said, "What's in a name?" The bard said, "What's in a name?" I for one ask, "What's in a shape?" One may regally sit on a throne and look like royal, wearing resplendent crown. Framing picture. How can after all can you see with naked eyes? It's all laid bare, scattered to the skies. Only a scene does it make, but unless to the picture I give a frame, taming the vision is giving life to a shot. Taming the vision is giving life to a shot, and it hangs to charm forever, even peeping out of the frame, low, whistling, winking, inviting, hung ho. Meltdown. Looking out through the casement, I find the sea tides busy down in their basement. Now seem calm the waves and quiet the horizon. The vast orange sky too looks frozen. Let me take a look ere all melts away, ere raging storm again holds its sway. On the sea, land and strikes furiously the horizon, leaving the casement with looks forlorn of a tempest, furious mood, everything torn, leaving a desert devoid of the nature's fun, leaving sand, sand and sand, everywhere, sand, shore and desert, beach and wild, sand on sand. Now, for those of you who have joined late, let me just explain in a minute that what we are talking about is my anthology of poems, my own Khajuraho, and all these poems are not related to the theme of Khajuraho, which I have explained that it is to purify one's own self before you approach the Almighty or the God, and you stay in obeisance before asking for His deliverance or grant of wishes, whatever. So that's the idea behind the whole recitation. Here we go again. Night lights. Night halts not always that one makes. Night too sometimes to doze off takes. Night bears and bears out more than the day. Night is all lights despite its myriad dismay. Night is night, still a bright hopeful day ahead silently dawns. Worldly star. Does the star also gaze down on us? We look up to the stars. We marvel at their twinkling. We liken the stars to so many things around us. But does the star also gaze down on us? Or it just shines and twinkles and gazes not? When to the luminous shine the star would come. When to the luminous shine the star would come. Blind went, it just shows in a maze. Starry world and a worldly star. Starry world and a worldly star. Bosom Paul. आपके चड्डी बड्डीज. घने मित्र. When I wonder a piece of cloth should pad the bosom. When I wonder a piece of cloth should pad the bosom. Seed sown in course of time grows in a plant. As season comes, on it flowers bloom. Soon the picker would pick withered ones. The blooming ones weaver could weave in garlands. His needle piercing the heart of the delicate flower. And washerman would beat the cloth in moves smart, till it undergoes strokes a ton. Why shouldn't that cloth pat the bosom to have a short fun? Yes, sir, principal sir. The stars, they should also be gazing at us. It's one's imagination. Of course, we keep gazing at the stars, find some kind of a solace in that, some pleasurable feel is there, some kind of a cathartical experience is there. And yes, they too gaze at us. For this is my own belief. Because nature, if you look up to the nature, nature can't ignore you. It gives you fulsome. Divine eye. Fortunately, the next poem is again related, germane. Divine eye. Divine, it's what's ordained. Divine, it is what's ordained. Divines man's eye. Soul's consciousness more than man's shine, O Lord. Future light. Life is but an empty dream, and that grave is not its goal. It's a different take. Life is but an empty dream, and that the grave is not its goal, said Longfellow. Thus, those who died young suddenly without a warning, those who died young suddenly without a warning, to me, have a future too. To me, have a future too. Far brighter, brilliant and twinkling one. Like unburnt Diwali candles, they would be acutely needed to light up sorrows later, that engulf our earthly world. I liken people who leave this world early on to an unburned, unlighted up candle on a Diwali day, which you preserve for future, for posterity, in case there would be light, in case there would be darkness once again. So, future light is what is the predicament of those who leave us early on. Dream digging. Dream it was, dare I say, come true. Soon, too soon will it pass. Being not a dream, dare I say, it was real. Qualify it all, it will, for fake or farce. If I say it did happen, it won't negate its being a dream. Oh, let a dream remain a dream, not to be or evaluated, with eyes wide open and mind contemplating. Let a dream be a dream, let a dream remain a dream. It was in 2011 that I wrote this book, and the date was 11 November 2011. I think I must have written something on this date. One sixer or six is one. One sixer or six is one. 3 twos or 3 11s. 11. When would it again happen? We think not. Oh, never not. But just look at the TikTok. Believe it keeps happening ever and every now and then. Transience and permanence. It's just a perception. What is transient and what is permanent? Something which is repeatedly happening with us might not take place for eternity, till eternity, and something which was ordained to take place very, very late in future might take place immediately in an instant. So we can't appreciate time. We can't appreciate time in measures of hours, minutes, and days and calendars. Resolution time. The dawn of the new year is the time for making a resolution, a time to decide to aim with steadfastness and willpower before any delay or deferment breaks the resolve. Now I am going to recite the last poem of this part 1, and let me tell you the background of this poem, which was a real incident which took place in Panchkula some time back. In fact, there was a dog in Panchkula which was claimed by 2 different people, both well-to-do and in high positions. And there was a court case also going on for the ownership of that dog. Now, what is the plight of that dog? His master's choice. I'm going to tell you what did the dog think about its masters or the whole affair concerning the dog. Because we can understand the fights in courts, we can understand the fights over possession. But what would be a dog's perspective, what would be a pet's perspective is delineated here in this poem. There is a small little background in 2-3 lines. A fight over the ownership of a dog in Panchkula had interesting goings on to watch. I can't help sharing what a dog soliloquized during one of my evening strolls. Here we go. This is the dog saying it all. To be or not to be or not to be, either by an army man or a bureaucrat. That is the question, a pertinent question. Whether it is canine to be loyal to one, face courts and cops, DNA and microchips, be high on media hype, or to spread out claws and raise the voice in protest, or be cross-examined, tuck the tail in hinds, sit on haunches through the trial course, and wait with a salivating tongue hanging out, waiting to be declared his master's choice, or to regain my straying habit here and there, or sleeping unmindful in sunshine, and let people say, let sleeping dogs lie, barking, snarling, howling, yelping, whining. Unlike those fatty sleep-o nights with pats, bones, and bites, who on leash forever remain. Oh, my tail, though taut and curling, never knowing what straightness is, though thou hast always known straightness of sagacious counsel, besides the art of loyalty to the master. What's in a name? Call me dog or hound, canine, pup or puppy, whelp, cur or mongrel. What's that they call a Leo? Leo was the dog's name. What's that they call a Leo might sound as unpredictable, or a marshal as lowly, if love not be there. And if instinctive friendliness is wanting, my calling shall be the same. Or, O wise men listening to my sad tale, I miss my days when on couch would I lay, or moved in expensive cars, craning my head out of the car window, wondering at the pitiable sight of those on foot, cycles, scooters, or rickshaws, feeling proud of my car journey. Now I feel ashamed at my this predicament, of a joy claimed by none, by one, and not the only one, but two, though the world knows, and all beings are there to watch my plight, or we are known even as watchdogs, and not to be watched with museum interest or zoo. Leo was the name of the dog who was claimed by an army officer and a bureaucrat, and it was his plight as to who the master should be, should have him back. Which of the masters should have him back? Well, this was the first part of Khajuraho. Second and third parts will come in due course. I normally have started coming live at this hour of the day. Maybe we'll have more things every day. Maybe, yes. And if you have any questions on this, if you have any suggestions on my recitation, please go ahead. I'm here for a minute or two more, waiting for you all to interject and tell me what it is all about. Thanks. Thanks, Kamadi, for watching. So thank you, folks. Hope you enjoyed this recitation. Bye-bye.